Hello guys, this is Alex, and today we're having a little discussion about orchestration and giving you some little tips about how to approach your orchestration in a maybe more thoughtful way. And I'm doing this out of this very nice studio. This is a studio that I got for residency, and I got this little space here to compose my first symphony. Yes, so this is part of it. There's quite a lot of mess around here, but I got a few score done in a couple days, and I'm drinking lots of coffee and trying to get this done. But yeah, today it's a special video because I don't have all of my usual camera, so it's all going to be unedited. So bear with me. There's not going to be any playback as well. So we're just going to discuss a specific topic today. What I'm thinking about is to talk about orchestration in a way that you're not using your ears. So this might sound weird, but it's actually a very important way to approach orchestration, because writing for the orchestra, you see there's so many different instruments, and there's even more than that. There's like 2 flutes, 2 oboe, 2 clarinet, 2 bassoon. So these are all grouped together. So see that I am writing 2 voices for some of these. Same for the bassoon here. But then 4 horns. There's 4 horns in there, so they're playing. 2 are on the upper line and 2 are the lower line. So this, you understand, there's quite a lot of people involved in this. And of course, the string orchestra, they're all, they're all quite small down here, but this is actually 30 musicians. So you got to think about all of these peoples and trying to decline your music in a way that first, it doesn't feel too crowded, and secondly, you're mastering really the orchestra to it and presenting your idea to their fullest extent. So you see that my scores look a little bit like blocks for now. So I purposely don't write down all of the silence, just to show always, or just to know always what are the groups that are playing the gestures together. So here I got all of my brasses. These are the brasses, some of the percussions as well, and up here the low bassoons are also playing, and these are playing with the lowest strings here. But here after that, there's the upper violins that are getting in and playing this line going up. Yeah, so I love to work like this because you really see the gestures and what color you're applying to these gestures, and you can always refer to these instruments name on the left. So this idea that I want to give you today, to not use your ears, is to use your instinct in a way and use your basic knowledge of all of these instruments. So it's much easier to study when you start studying orchestration. At least you start by learning these individual instruments. So flute, you understand that the flute in its lowest register around the middle C would sound a little bit more dark and a lot airy, and up here it sounds very bright and bringing a lot of light to the sound. And in this middle register, it's a little bit more, it can be a little bit more in the background, but still can be very noticeable. So once you know this of the flute and its possibilities, like in the lowest register, you cannot play loud with the flute, you can only play soft. And this highest register on the flute, well, you have to put out some sound to get it out. So once you know this about the flute, then you might understand a little bit more about how to pair it with others. So once you know this with the flute, let's say you want to pair it, is there anybody else down here? Well, with the violin. So you know that the violins in this register is very strong, and is a very since there are so many players in the violin section, well, they're very it creates a very dense sound. So if you have this line here with the violins and you want to pair it with something, you're wondering, well, the flute sound is a little bit lonely, or maybe a little bit too precise for me because it's a very individualistic sound. So I want to get it out more in a more in a more dense kind of texture. So once you add in the violins, it's a good example for this. And adding a little trill here on the held note creates a little friction with what you already had. So so knowing what the individual sections can do, and like like I said, the string orchestra are a group of people, so their sound is much more dense. It's much denser than just picking one instrument of the woodwind section or the brass section. So once you understand this, you don't necessarily have to hear everything that you're doing. Not necessarily hearing like, oh, well, what the violin will sound with this. It's just you're thinking about the concept of mixing the flute and the violins together. Let's see another example. So here, and I want to show you a little bit about voicing as well. So especially here, this chord is actually just two notes. So it's the C sharp here and the B. And the B is also here on the oboe. This is on those three are on the G clef. So you got C sharp, B. This is the same B that the flute is playing. So both the second flute and the first oboe are playing together. And then we're going an octave down to get this C sharp at an octave down with the oboe. And then this one is also playing the same as the second oboe, so same pattern. And then the B here, an octave lower than the first oboe, is played by the second clarinet. So this simple voicing thing is called to interlaced, I think in English it is. So it's actually, instead of having two flutes on the C sharp, two oboes on the B, and two clarinets on the C sharp here, you use this to blend a little bit more the section together. So because the flute, the oboe, and the clarinets are three instruments that are not, that doesn't have the same sound. So if you want to blend them a little bit more together, well, this is a way to do it. You're not necessarily going to hear the individual sound of the flute or the individual sound of the oboe, but it's really a mix between the three of them. So when we come back to the particularities of each of these instruments, so the flute is much more airy. It's a very airy sound. It's maybe a thinner sound. So adding in the oboe will add a lot of precision. So the oboe is a very more precise instrument, a more distinctive instrument. So yeah, this will add a lot more precision to your sound. And adding the clarinets in here will add a little bit more roundness to your sound. So the clarinet actually have a sound that is a little bit darker than the flute. So this complements it very well, and especially now that it's presented an octave lower. So yeah, so this is my woodwind section for this. It's actually playing these notes. It's also using the G sharp and the A sharp here. It's a kind of that kind of floating effect in here. And if we go down to what this sound is paired with, I'm gonna go to the first and the second violin. They're playing the B and the C sharp. So both of these upper notes from the flute here. But see that the first violins are playing the C sharp and the second violin are playing the B. So adding a lot more density to the sound, like I said earlier here, the string section are much denser instruments. They're playing forte as well, and this is sostenuto, so they're holding this dynamic. But see that since they are moving here, the woodwinds are actually moving, and both the violins here, the violin section, are holding the first one, the first B and C sharp. So what you have here is actually the the violins picking this first attack and extending it. So it's like we use these notes, we put them here, and we extend them to add some blurriness to this kind of sound. And the fact that also this is a big section playing, this will be much denser. And finally, the symbol here is adding a lot of brightness as well. I'm also asking to play with wood sticks. This is asking for wood sticks here. So there was really creating a kind of sound. So very, very alarming kind of sound this will be. And the last thing here that we can observe and deduce is that my violins are playing these upper two lines, but they're not playing these lower lines from the clarinet and the second oboe. So the idea behind that, and the whole point of this video, is to make you understand that here, once you do this and decide, well, I could use these lower notes here from the clarinet and send them to maybe, I don't know, my violas or cellos, to get the full sound. Well, do you always need the full sound? Here I decided to only use these upper notes here to have a texture that has more weight in the upper register and almost no weight down here. It's like you add a little bit more perspective, like this is forefront and this is more in the background, and it's like you're painting a picture. You cannot put everything, like all your sound, all your object, all your characters in the forefront. You have to put some, you have to do some to add some depth in your visual, in your painting. Well, this is something that I'm doing here with the orchestration. Adding some depth to the orchestration is exactly that. You're deciding what is a little bit more in the front and what is a little bit more in the background. You can think of it as some harmonics in certain sounds are a little bit more perceivable than others. So it's not always all harmonics are exactly the same when you're hearing a sound in the nature, when my voice is speaking, or when you're hearing even a real instrument playing. So this is a way to create sound that feels a little bit more alive and a little bit more, adding a little bit of depth to your orchestration. But yes, all of this was done with, well, I have a piano back there, but this is just a B sharp and a C. There's not a lot of material or like motifs or melodies in this. It's just creating orchestration, and creating orchestration doesn't necessarily require you to always have a playback on hand. This is why I love to compose by hand like this. So yes, well, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation of this section of my symphony. This is going to be performed in a couple years, so it's not going to be online for some time. But yes, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little adventure in the forest with me. So I wish you well. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.